Hello, adventurers. My name's Tyler.
And I'm Richard.
On today's episode, we're talking about some of the games we bought and some of the games we saw and plan to buy from GenCon 2023. Welcome to True Strike.
Howdy, folks. We saw so much at GenCon 2023 this year. My wallet was essentially on fire from the moment we stepped through the doors. So today we wanted to talk about some of the games that we did end up buying and stuff that we did want to buy that we haven't picked up yet.
Oh, man. I was not financially prepared for just how much I was gonna see that I wanted. And I mean, we'd gone to PAX and stuff like that before, and it's a lot of the times it's like, ooh, some neat things, usually shirts and stuff and whatever, but this was an entirely different beast. Basically, if you could see it, you could buy it for the most part, and if you couldn't buy it there, you could buy it soon. And yeah, I mean, we both definitely got some stuff, and we're about to get into that, but man, was there so much stuff I wanted to get.
Yeah, I definitely knew I wanted to spend money when I got there, and then when we actually walked onto the actual show floor itself, It became clear that I had no idea that I actually wanted to spend money there, because there was just so much, and I didn't buy anything really the first day that we walked on the the exhibit floor, because I wasn't mentally prepared for having to choose. Is really what it came down to, what I could walk away with that weekend. Because, obviously, if I could do anything that I wanted and money was no object, I would have needed to rent an additional car, small Sprinter van maybe, to bring everything home that I didn't actually get. So that was the thing, was having to decide what I was going to buy now and what I could hold off on and pick up either when it released officially, because there was some stuff that was early release that you could just get there that you can't get until a couple weeks later, or that I just wanted to just put off and I'm going to pick up eventually.
It was interesting. We had to make at one point multiple trips to the car, and
that's right, I forgot about that.
The car we rented ended up being much larger than it was supposed to be.
Thank God.
And yeah, we had that thing stuffed, and yeah, we hit points where Richard had one of those like big board game bags, and I had like a little cinch bag that was also stuffed, and we're holding things in our hands, and we're like, for a 15-minute walk, we could alleviate a lot of back pain right
Lighten
now.
the load at least just a little bit.
So I think we did that a couple of times.
Yeah, we had to.
And man, I'm glad we were parked as close as we were, because woof.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was at least a good thing, was that, while I did have a nice size backpack, after we got a couple of games in there, especially some of these games,
Trials.
One of the games that you bought in particular probably weighed, 54 pounds.
Yeah.
I think, just for that one game alone.
54 pounds of content.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, it was nice to be able to, shoot over to the car to offload. Next year won't be a problem. We'll just walk to the hotel room and drop it off. That'll be really cool, right?
You say this, and I'm so hopeful. But hey, like I said before, if we were in the exact same hotel room we were this year, I'd do it again.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
But yeah, no, you're right. It'd be nice to just escalator up, drop it off, sprint back.
Now I think I have a better idea of what I'm going to have to set aside for a gaming budget.
That's a big part of it, because after the first day, I was like, hey, are you going to get anything? And you're like, I don't really know. And then we were like at the hotel room, and you're like, all right, $10, $11, $12. I could get something with this. And you're like, you all right? Like, I got to figure out how much I could spend tomorrow. There's just too much. I have to get something. And got something. You did.
Yeah, no, we each bought a couple different things. We kind of both had like one thing on our list that we were going to pick up, which we both accomplished.
Yes.
For me was Queen by Midnight, which we're talking about in a minute, and for you was Sky Team.
Yep. We got our number ones.
Yeah, so we got our big picks.
Yep.
So we did make sure to get those out of the way. But then there was a bunch of other kind of little things that we saw there. Some of the stuff was stuff that I wasn't even looking for, which actually brings me to the first game on my list that I bought that I wasn't even looking for, and that is Catch the Moon by Bombix Studios.
This is a game that I've been bugging Richard, because he showed me when we got to the hotel. We didn't get to play it. It's been, what, literally since GenCon. It's like a full month of me asking you like every day, except for when I was out of work, every day since then. Like, did you bring the game? Did you bring the game? Did you bring the game? Yesterday he brought the game. Yesterday, as of recording, he brought the game, and we got to play it, and it was super fun. And 30 seconds into it, I was like, maybe this isn't as good as I thought it was going to be. And 30 minutes into it, I was like, I want to play it again. I have to buy this game.
I feel so bad because I played it at GenCon, which, you know, that's how I found out about it, was I walked by a demo happening. And then I actually did play it after GenCon, just not with you because you were out sick.
Played it with
and
our
so I
associate
ended up
from
playing
work.
it with our associate, Carl Jr. So yeah, I had played it. But yeah, so this was a game that while we were away, Tyler was doing an interview and I was walking around the show floor waiting for another interview to start. I walked by and saw some people playing a game, which if you've never seen this game before, Catch the Moon, it's a cloud with some ladders on it. And then what you essentially do is set up the ladders. It's a balancing game, right? So you're pulling ladders out of a pool of ladders and stacking them without having them drop. So on its surface, very simplistic game. The demo drew me right in. I played it with a couple of people, played I think maybe 3 total games because I kept wanting to play more of it, and then immediately bought the game.
I didn't realize you'd played it so many. Like I said, I wasn't with you. I didn't realize you played so many times there.
Yeah, no, like I said, I walked up kind of in the middle of a game, and the guy's all like, "Oh, you can just start in the middle. We don't have to start over. Just to start playing. Like, just jump right in." And I started playing it, and then failed pretty quickly, lost, and then was all like, "All right, we're starting from the beginning." Played it through again, and then it was the same situation for the third game. I was playing, and somebody new walked up, and they're like, "What are you playing?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's great.
You're passing the torch.
Come right on in, and I'll teach you how to play it. I only just learned how to play."
That's the magic of GenCon.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a really good one, and it wasn't one that was even on my radar. It was a game that I just saw walking through the exhibition floor.
I'm sure we're going to do a 60-second war game review for it soon, or at the very least, I have some photos from our game. If nothing else, we'll have some photos up on Instagram or something. This game is so visually impressive. It's one of those things that if I had seen it before you, I too would have walked away with it. And then you would have gotten to be me at the hotel of like, what is this? Because that's all it took. It took him opening the box, me seeing the contents, and him telling me how simple it was. And moth to a flame, like I wanted to play this so badly. And I'm really glad that actually playing it, like it was as good or better than I expected. And I still want to pick it up. I really want this game for my own collection to play with family and stuff because it was a really good yet simple and easy to learn game.
Yeah, I'm glad it lived up to your expectations that
Me
you
too.
held it to and asking me to bring it every single day that I kept forgetting.
Expectations to the moon. Next, it was one of our ones that we had to like fight the crowd and rush to get. It was one of those exciting endeavors of like, can we even get this? And we managed to do it, and we got the exclusive cards and everything else. And as of recording, tomorrow we'll have a 60-second review of it up. So if you guys aren't aware, True Strike podcast we're branching out, and we're going to be putting up video content from now. And one of those things, the first thing you're going to see from us are these 60-second reviews. And to start it off, we brought out a banger with Queen by Midnight by Darrington Press. And, check out the review if you want to know, our full thoughts in, 60 seconds. Good game. This is Tyler speaking, I am not a fan of deck builders. I'm just not. There's Shards Infinity is really good. It says it's supposed to take 30 minutes. We played it for 5 hours. Like, this one is also supposed to take what?
Our bad.
An hour or something?
Yeah, I think
and
it
took us
officially 60 minutes.
It took us 3 hours.
And it took us 3 hours to play, yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, I don't have time for this. I don't want to build cards over time. But it's the unique mix of you're a specialized character with specific abilities different than the other people. So you have a cool strategy. Me, I was playing as a character that you're really not that offensive, and you really don't have any way to heal. So you're playing the long game, the whole game. But once you build up at the end, you become a monster. And that was my experience of being a monster in Queen by Midnight.
Yeah, and like you said, this was one of the games that we did rush to get. And actually, I think the night before we went to go get this game,
Yes.
I had even mentioned I don't have high expectations of being able to obtain this game because I know how many people are at this convention and I know that they have a limited run available of it. So I was going into this expecting disappointment, but ended up both of us getting in a numbered line to be able to pull it. We only needed one of us in line, so I immediately got out of line because Tyler was ahead of me because he took some weird shortcut through the convention center floor, some teleporting that I don't know
Asked
about.
you, and I'm like, where are you going?
I may have gotten lost, but that aside, we were able to get it, which was great. And go check out the review. Short story, yeah, we did like it. I enjoyed it. Of course, we'll talk about some things that we could see improved in it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But overall, glad I was able to pick it up and
Great
get to
pickup.
play it. Yeah, it's a really good one, and I'm glad to have it in the collection. I do like deck builders, unlike you.
And it's in the world of deck builders, or it's just super unique.
Yeah.
Like, not only is it visually stunning with the artwork and the tower being front and center game mechanic and stuff, and there are bits where they like really do try to hold your hand in this complicated game with like certain rules being on the tower listed in your character sheet or your character board, having all these things listed. It was just unfortunate that there are some things missing.
Yeah, the rule book definitely needs a little bit of work. And it's one of those games, too, that I think once you get a single game under your belt, you realize that it's not as complicated as it seems on the surface. So, yes, it did take us 3 hours to play a 60-minute game the first time. I believe our next game is going to go much smoother.
One of the big things, if you do play this game, this isn't like a full-on review or anything of it, but all of the cards have the same back.
Oh, yes.
And in comments on YouTube reviews and everything, I've actually let people know because our first thought playing this, we're like, why do all of these cards look the same? Like, if these cards get mixed up, you're done. It's a nightmare. You're never going to sort these. You could. It would be a pain in the butt, I think. But there's tons of cards, and they all look almost identical, and completely identical from the back. And you're like, what? But that was because we didn't fully realize at the moment that what we were playing was a deck builder.
How this deck builder is. Yeah.
And, if the cards have anything that sets them apart while you're drawing from a pile, you've got unfair advantages. So they have to look the same. And then once you understand that, the game really starts to flow and it all makes much more sense. You just got to be careful when you're putting it back together, so the next thing plays easier.
Yeah, it does require a little bit more breakdown and setup than your average game,
Yeah.
just because it is an all-enclosed deck builder.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of breakdown and setup, the clock tower, once you build it up, doesn't break down.
Yeah, you just set it right in the box,
Good to
which
go.
is really cool.
And last thing I want to say on this, I don't know if Richard, if you have any more before we jump to the next game. Shout out to the employee at Darrington Press.
Oh, yes.
That, one, gave us the full scoop on everything and was very insightful and knew what they were talking about. But two, basically tried to ease us into the fact that we were not going to get the game probably, and we should probably just order it from Darrington Press stores and everything else. But, good luck trying to get it this weekend.
Yeah.
And then we checked out from them the next morning when we got the game. And even though there's 70,000 attendees at this convention, they recognized us and were like, "You got it! Congrats!" And we're like, "Thank you! Good luck!"
Yeah. No, that was pretty neat.
So, ooh, man. Games. This one, I've opened the box. I've started reading the rules. We've not ran this game yet because we gotta find some time.
Yeah, and a big enough table.
Look, I think this table will be fine. The table we got coming in, absolutely fine. It's wider.
This is the aforementioned 54-pound game.
Yes. This is Trials of Tempest by WizKids. Oh my gosh. This was a game that I knew of before the con. I'd seen it advertised and completely wrote it off. They already had Dungeons & Dragons Onslaught that I did want to get, and I was like, oh, it's like a war gamey D&D. I'll get it. It's content, plus it looks interesting. And then I saw this, and I was like, okay, why? It also looks like a war game. It is around the same price. It's $100 for unpainted, $200 for pre-painted. And I'm like, geez, like why are they putting out another one of these games so soon? And I don't really care. I wrote it off. Then we go there. We talk to the designer of the game. He sells us on the game. And I mean, really sells me on it. He basically explains everything. It's this massive game, hundreds of different possible scenario combinations. You're each building a team like of different, you choose your species, your class, and your subclass. You're building up a team 4-on-4 or 8 players if you have enough people to control one person each. But if you have 2 people, each of you controls 4 characters, you build a team, which, you know, maybe I'm biased, but I think that'll be the most fun way to do it. And there's different objectives every round and all these different special things and boss battles. And it all seems so cool. And I'm so excited to actually play this game. And I feel so bad Richard carried it around the show floor.
It wasn't that long.
54 pounds is
We
crazy.
took it back to the car, but it is a thick boy.
We brought it back to the con the second day.
Oh, yeah, we brought it back. I forgot about that.
We wanted to get it signed and carried it around then, too. So he had to deal with this multiple times.
That's fine. No, it's a very cool looking game, and it does have a table presence. Like when you see it on the table, you see the miniatures, you see the map, you see all the cool stuff, the icons, the just the setup for the player boards and everything like that. Looks amazing. Can't wait to actually play it. But it's definitely a large game. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit more planning than just slapping down a couple hours to play Queen.
Yeah. And it really looks like, you know, we haven't played it yet, but from, you know, the demonstration we got, it looks like those big PvP battles that all Dungeons & Dragons players think they're going to have when they're like, oh, I'm going to PvP this other player. And the rules aren't necessarily made for it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, well, I just got completely one-shot by this guy's disintegrate spell. I didn't even get to do my stuff. Oh, because the game's not meant for that. This game is meant for that. And the fact that there's the different objectives with different points, and then you eventually go into the boss battle, it's worth so many points itself. And it's like, oh, the game ends like Golden Snitch style. When the boss is beaten, the game ends. That doesn't mean you win. The other person could be ahead in points, even if you get the boss kill. So there's so much strategy to it, let alone the strategy of building your team and what objectives pop up randomly. Like, the amount of replayability in this just seems insane. And, you know, there's talk of potential expansions being done for it and stuff already, introducing either like new characters or new missions and stuff. Oh, it just seems so neat.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. So
Very
hopefully
excited.
we'll get to that soon.
If it matters, I got the unpainted. We're just going to have to just have a painting night sometime. And painting month. There's a lot of
Painting
pieces.
month. Yeah, there's a lot of miniatures.
But I can't wait to play it.
Yeah. The next thing on our list was your big game for the show, which was Sky Team. So this was a game that I didn't know about previous to the show. And then we were talking about like, oh, what are we looking forward to the most? And you showed me Sky Team and I was like, this looks amazing.
Yep.
Like, this looks so cool and unique. And it was, again, one of those games where we knew that it was going to be limited.
Oh, yeah.
So we did have to rush to this developer and get in line.
No, not necessarily. No. If we really look back, we were novices.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one we weren't really sure at that point. We just knew that
We knew
wanted
we
to go
get
there.
it,
Yeah.
and that maybe it would sell out.
Yeah.
You know, we're like, oh, games can sell out. It's a convention. We were like, let's stay upstairs and film people going in and just experience it. And then with the door we walked in, oh, look, we happen to be near Sky. Let's go ahead and grab Sky.
Yeah,
Team,
let's
we're near
run
their
over
door.
there first.
So we got over there and we're like, oh, there's a line already. Cool, we'll just get in it. And then they're like, we only have 100 copies. And we're like number 80 in line. And we're like, oh, we lucked out.
Yeah.
Because this just happened to be the plan we kind of fumbled together. But at no point was I like, oh, if we don't go over there first thing Thursday morning, we're not going to get it. But that's what would have happened.
Yeah.
So, woo!
Yeah, this is a game we haven't played yet, but man, do I want to play.
Fully read the rules. I'm very excited. We just have to find the time to play it at this point. It for those that don't know, essentially it is a 2-player cooperative game where you're both working together to land a plane, and the plane's going down. You're losing fuel every turn. You're gaining ground. You got to land at the airport. There's other planes on the track. You got to call ahead and get them to move out of the way. You got to land level. You got to land at the right time. You got to apply the brakes. You got to do all these things, and all of this has to be coordinated between both players without either of you being able to talk in your turns.
Yeah.
you're rolling dice into like these little like window, like little what do I want to call them? They're like soccer goals, but completely covered so that only you can
little
see into
tiny
it.
DM screens.
Yeah, and like dome up, and the other person can't see your rolls, and you're like both strategically placing dice in certain areas. And if there's like 37 different ways you can die instantly, and it's game over, and it looks so stressful but so fun. The idea that like both of you were able to work together just by being in sync like a pilot and co-pilot should be to perfectly land this plane at the end, and without any doubt you have utterly and completely won the game, because there are so many ways you can lose instantly. If you didn't fall victim to any of that, you won. You landed this plane, and it looks so cool. It wasn't expensive, and man, do I love me a good 2-player cooperative game.
Yeah, I'm hyped to play this one. Out of everything on the list that we haven't played yet, this one is like way up there. Can't wait.
Mm-hmm. My surprise pick, which, oh, by the way, Hatchet board games for Sky Team. Maybe you already said that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's Hatchet board games.
But while I was picking up Sky Team, they were one of the booths that were like, hey, we got this coupon for GenCon. And I'm like, okay, neat. They're like, yeah, it saves you like 10% off your total purchase. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then while I'm in line, I'm like, this game has like rocks that you stack on each other. Ooh, it looks like it's really good quality. Oh, I love me some like good wooden pieces. It just looks simple and aesthetically pleasing. I flip the box over and it's like four steps. You know how to play the game. And I'm like, I'm really going to think about this game. And then I'm in line for Sky Team and I'm like, but I get 10% off my total purchase if I get it now. And I just grabbed it. And I was like, on a whim, let me get this game that cost more than Sky Team, the game I came to buy, that I know borderline nothing about, because it's pretty and simple and pretty simple.
And they had a really cool demo. Basically, their demo unit of this game was a massively scaled up version of it. It was like 4 times the size of the actual game.
At least.
It was a massive wooden carved scaled up version of it, which was just super cool. And it had a really nice presence right there in line. You're walking past it and you're all like, what is this?
Yep.
And it's one of the games from another developer in there, which is Gigamic.
Yeah.
And yeah, this one surprised me because we did play this when we got back to the hotel room.
Yes, we played this like the first thing after we got back and ate.
Yeah.
But yeah, the game is called Quail Eggs.
Quali. I think it's legitimately Quale.
I think it's Koali.
Quali?
I don't know.
Maybe.
If you're looking it up, it is Qual. I don't remember. Richard misspelled it on the notes on purpose, and now that I'm saying it out loud,
I thought you were
wrong.
just gonna read what I wrote in the notes, and I'm like, that's not right. Don't stop reading the note.
Koali. The best part about this is, if you actually look it up from the developer, they have their own video where they mispronounce it. So it's entirely canon that this game, I don't know, just doesn't have a correct pronunciation. Just go with your heart. It's the stone stacking game. It's basically Connect 4 and Tic-Tac-Toe had some strange baby. You're just getting 4 rocks in a row, but you're like stacking a bunch of other rocks, and you only got 8 rounds to do it, or you both lose, or you both win, or you both draw. However you look at it, I'd say we both lose because we weren't able to beat the other player. Yeah. But it's so fun.
Yeah, it's one of those games that is very simple on the surface, but also very deceptive.
Oh, for sure.
Because like the first time that we played it, and you beat me, I didn't even realize that you beat me when you did. And I'm like, wait, that's it? I lost? Let's go again. We're going again.
We're going again right now.
We're doing it right now. And then I won the next game, and I was all like, yeah. Now I feel vindicated. Yeah. And we're going again.
One more.
Yeah, one more.
We can't end on a draw.
It's one of those games that is so simple, but very complex. You have to think very far ahead. It reminds me a lot of chess, which is what you said the first time we started playing it.
Our associate from work, I played with him once, and we got really deep into it. And then I was like, man, at this point, I don't think I can win, but maybe I could try to stop him. And I took a move, and then he like won instantly and was like, I had 3 different possibilities for beating you this turn. And I'm like, Nani? Like, I saw none of that.
Yeah.
And he was looking in the stone matrix and just
Yep.
knew how to do it. No matter what I did, I was going to lose.
That was you the first game we played. Like, you did the move and you're like, and I win. And I'm like, but how? What? How? Why? I didn't see that. Because I had no idea the win condition was there.
That's the interesting
Never
part
saw
about this
it.
game. Every time I've lost this game, I didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
And every time I've won, I saw it coming.
Yeah. Very, very cool little sleeper hit.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm glad to have added it to my collection.
Yeah.
You, though, my friend, not a new game. In fact, not even a game for sale, but acquired nonetheless.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't for sale on the show floor. I know this because I asked. So while we were in Sky Team, I was looking around at like this massive show floor and all these different developers. And I was like, oh, man, this is like, there's so many places I want to go. And then I see the familiar gear hanging above a booth in the distance, and it's Steamforged Games. And I was all like, oh, yes, we are going to Steamforged Games as soon as we leave the Hatchet Board Games booth. I can see it. I've already mapped out the path. If you don't know, Steamforged Games makes all kinds of really good stuff. They make the epic encounters for Dungeons and Dragons 5e. They make a Horizon Zero Dawn board game. They have a Resident Evil board game, Bard Song, a massive single or multiplayer epic of a board game. They have really, really high production values. And most importantly, they make God Tier, which if you've ever played God Tier is an amazing game that is essentially like a hybrid war game, like in the lines of, you know, like Warhammer and War Machine and board game mix. So it's the board game equivalent of a war game.
It's like the 40K Overwatch board game simplification. And me, as someone who will not play a game where I have to measure the distance from one point to another, how dare you ask me to use a ruler and do any kind of math?
Yeah,
this says hex.
They take that out and they replace it with hexes.
And now it's fun.
And you build your little teams based on, you know, the team composition that you find enjoyable. And there's different colors which have different strengths and different weaknesses and different win conditions, which is really, really cool.
Yep.
But God Tier is an amazing game. Love it. We don't play it nearly as much as I want to.
We used to play it back
when we had time.
When we had a time.
Yeah, before the podcast, we were
weekly.
playing it weekly and loved it. And I went straight over to their booth and I'm like, all right, show me the champions. What do you got for God Tier? And they're like, oh yeah, we didn't bring any God Tier with us. We just brought the starter sets. And we're not selling the champions. We're focusing on a lot of the other products here. And I was like, oh, that's sad. I wanted to buy some champions. But awesome, because, you know, you guys are really, really cool and you make really great games. So I didn't get to buy any champions. And then we were going to another show, and Tyler was checking his phone and saw that Steamforged was posting on their socials looking for people to come by and say keywords at their booth to win prizes. So I had a chance to win prizes.
Whatever from a box, a mystery box.
Yeah, a mystery box. And we actually did win. And I got to go down there and was able to claim a prize. They opened up the mystery box, and lo and behold, full of God Tier champions for me to choose from.
They refused to sell you them. Completely denied that they even had it.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, they were in the back.
They were in the mystery box, and I ended up walking away with 3 new champions. I could not believe it. They were like, so what champions do you not have? And I was like, oh, I don't have this one. He's like, oh, that's a good one. What other ones do you not have? And I was like, I don't have this one. I don't have this one. And they gave me all 3 champions.
It was so cool because I'm watching it from afar. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're always talking about playing more God Tier. Like, we can't wait to play more God Tier. We're always looking at new champions coming out, just like, ooh, which one of us is going to pick this one up? Because we try not to get the same ones. And if we ever want to play the other one, we just share, you know, like, oh yeah, you can play around them for this match. And they give him the one, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Like, this is awesome. Like, yeah, you just got this for free. This is amazing. Oh my God, they just gave him a second one. They're still going. Like, at some point I was like, are they just going to give him the whole box? Like, we're gonna have to go back to the car already.
Yeah, that was amazing. Being one of my favorite games, and then like I said, just winning it from a developer as awesome as Steamforged. A developer
that we both like. We sing their praises all the time between Epic Encounters and the animals, everything. It's all so good. We've kickstarted stuff from them. We play their games and modules and stuff. We do those often. And to the fact that they even make God tier something that's not Dungeons and Dragons, when the other stuff we get from them and play is usually Dungeons and Dragons, it feels like a cool coincidence because they just make such good models. And the fact that the game is just so good, like mechanically, it's done so well. They happen to be there, happen to be really nice, wonderful people, and we're doing this cool promotion that you were able to like win. Like that's so cool.
Yeah, that was a high point of GenCon 2023 for me.
So early on too.
Yeah, and it was so early on. It was just so great to like you said, meet these really cool developers, and then to get this awesome content for a game that you already love and enjoy, and you get more stuff for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, not a new game, but a really great game and some really cool stuff for it.
I was so happy for them too, with them actually like selling out of things like Sea of Thieves and
I forgot about Sea of Thieves. Yeah, that's another game that they produced that looks amazing.
Oh god, and they released the Manticore, I believe.
Yeah, the Manticore set for Epic Encounters.
Yep, and I had to fight myself from purchasing that. I didn't yet. I didn't buy it at Gen Con because I was already getting so many things and the budget and everything else. But man, I swear their minis just get better and better every release because the Manticore and the accompanying set just were gorgeous. And they come with so many good, well-crafted miniatures for the price. I'm shilling them, I'm sure. They're not sponsoring this.
They're not sponsoring.
This is all legitimate.
We just really like Steamforged games.
They just make really good things, and we're happy about it all.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Next thing on our list was a game that was on neither of our radar.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a game that we never even heard of.
Next on our list is a game that was not on our list.
Yeah, it wasn't on either one of our lists. I had never heard of it. We weren't looking for it. We were sent to look for it
there we go.
by a friend. And it was our
associate.
Our work associate. Sorry, I gotta keep on the script here. And this game is by Buffalo Games, and it's called Oh No Volcano.
No.
Yeah, and I didn't know what it was.
Nope.
So we were just looking for it. We found it on the list. We went to the booth that it was at. We bought it. Surprisingly cheap game. Yep. We looked at it and we're all like, what in the plinko is this?
I had this super embarrassing thing where he gave me all his money to buy things in like a stained like check envelope. And I had to like pull that out of there, and they were like, the classic envelope of cash to stop you from spending too much money. I'm like, yeah, haha. And they give me the cash, and I'm trying to put it all back in there and in line, and there's like 30 people behind me, and I'm like, I'm trying not to spill money, guys. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I hate cash.
But yeah, no, it was a game, like I said, that we didn't know anything about, and we got to play it for the first time the other day, and surprisingly deep game, and I want to play more of it. And
deep, you say?
Deep as in very entertaining.
I was gonna say I would not call this game
it's
deep.
Not
I could
deep,
play this with the
deep.
kids.
It's very entertaining.
Very
I guess
fun.
I should say. Yeah, it's very fun.
And easy to learn.
And essentially, what it is you're climbing a volcano. So you have 3 climbers that are assigned to you: A, B, and C. We're getting very generic here. Although we did inject a lot more role play into our version of the game. We named all of our climbers.
This is every game we play.
But that's everything we play, so not too far off there. But yeah, you're climbing a volcano. You're collecting gems on your way to the top. The whole thing is to collect all the gems on the board, which I think there are 6 of that you have to collect total. So you're collecting all 6 gems. Once you collect all 6 gems, you win the game. And then basically what happens is every turn you're taking a lava ball and dropping it in the plinko game that is Oh No Volcano, and it rocks its way down the board. And if it happens to knock one of your climbers off, then they're Oh No Volcano. They're at the bottom of the volcano. They got to start over and start the climb again. And obviously the higher you get, the rarer the gems. There's a 1 gem way at the top, which means you're guaranteed to get hit by a volcano rock pretty much at some point.
Well, I'll say, once you get to that very top and you grab that last gem, that character just comes off the volcano because they're done for anyway. And they're as high as they go. You can't climb down.
Yeah.
It was super cool.
It's a fun game.
We wouldn't have picked it up ourselves, I don't think, unless it was one of those ones that maybe if we came up and demoed. But since we were looking for it anyway, it was basically one of those, I can't wait to try this.
Yeah.
And we were fortunate enough that, our associate was willing to come over and play it with us.
Yeah.
And it was a really good time, and I'm excited to do it again.
Yeah, like I said, it's a game that wasn't looking for, but I will gladly play again because it was fun.
Yeah. Now, I think that wraps up our highlights for games we purchased and got while we were there.
Yeah, so those are all the things that we purchased. Some of them we played, some of them we haven't played. But then there was some games that were there that we didn't purchase, either because we, weren't able to purchase it because it wasn't available for purchase on the show floor, or we just made a mistake and didn't purchase it when we should have. Sure. And I regret not buying some of it, or some of it is not completely released yet. So the first thing on my list that I wrote down here was Mythic Mischief, which is a game that when I saw it immediately clicked as my type of game. And it's a game that, like I said, I didn't really know anything about before going to GenCon, but as I walked around, I walked by their table, which was IV Studios or 4 Studios. I'm not exactly sure if they're using Roman numerals or if it's just IV Studios. But yeah, Mythic Mischief is essentially a team-based game. So you have what's essentially like school teams almost. So you have like the zombies, the fairies, the vampires, all really cool art styles, and you essentially have that team, and it's kind of like a little battle. So you're like on school grounds in the library, on the, like the gym pitch or whatever it may be, and setting up walls and obstacles and battling the other team to try and win, essentially. So it's kind of like a friendly school competition, which is really, really cool. And they just, actually, I don't think it's gone live yet. Volume 1 was available for purchase at the show. Mm-hmm. So a couple of the classes there, I think there was a total of like 6 or so. Volume 2 hits Kickstarter in a week.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, so they're going to have even more classes. Yeah, a week from recording. That new Kickstarter for Mythic Mischief Volume 2 should drop.
So this should actually be live by the time this episode goes
probably,
up.
Yeah, it'll be live at that point, which is even more teams that you can play. Yeah. And the models look amazing, really cool models. They actually, what kind of drew me to them as I walked by to beat a dead horse was Steamforged Games. So I saw the models and I was like, that's really high quality. It kind of reminded me of Steamforged quality models. And I was like, those look really cool. And the art style also jumped out at me. Loved it. So that's a game that if I could go back, I'd probably pick up Volume 1. And I plan on actually buying Volume 1 and kickstarting Volume 2. Oh,
wow.
Yeah, so
that's a
game you'll be playing soon, probably.
Ooh, can't wait. Now, the next one on our list here is a game I tried to bully you into getting because
I should have
deep
bought
in
it.
my heart, I know you wanted it.
I know, I did.
And we're talking about Catapult Feud. They had a fantastic deal at GenCon where you'd get the game for a good price, and then you'd pick out any of the, they had set expansions and little in stuff for accessories that you pick out any of those to go with it. So they had like three components. It was like the base game and 2 big expansions. And then there were 3 accessory packs inside things.
Yeah, that you could get.
So you could buy one thing plus accessory for $30, or all of it for $90. And I was like, dude, the $30 is a great deal, and you get the mats or the accessories, and it's fantastic. Oh my gosh, how could you? Because we played it and we had fun, and we're like, this is great. And then he's like, but the $90 gets me everything. I'm like, okay. All right, well, the $90 is still a really good deal. Do the $90. And he's like, $90's too much money.
I don't have the money.
I don't have that kind of money.
I don't have the kind of money to drop on it right then.
I don't got $90. And I'm like, bro, then spend the $30. And he's like, no, I don't want it if I can't have everything.
I wanted everything for this game.
I want it all.
It's one of those games where the more that you have, the more appealing it all gets, and it looks so cool. And this was late in the game, so this was like late into our Gen Con experience that we played this.
Late
so
Saturday?
At that point, yeah, it was all like, man, I can't drop any more money on stuff right now. And had it been earlier in the weekend, I probably would have went ahead and bought the entire set. So this game, if you've never seen it before, is it takes up a bit of space. You're gonna need room. I think you could probably get away with that on a 6x4 table. Pretty fun. You can go even bigger than that. But essentially what it is it's building blocks. You're using these set blocks to essentially build a small fort on your side of the table. And then you have your little guys, your little guards, and you hide them anywhere you want behind those building blocks. And then the whole purpose of the game is to then use a catapult on the opposite side of the table to sling the rock across the table and try and knock down all the little guards. So your opponent's building up their castle to try and protect their guys, and you're trying to knock them all down. And the expansions add all kinds of crazy stuff, more parts to the castles, more types of figures, more ways to shoot the balls across the tables. So it does take a little bit of space to set up, but once you get it all set up, it is so fun.
I mean, I guess not necessarily though. You could use a smaller table that would change how much force you're using.
Yeah, it would just change your force in the catapult. Yeah.
And you could still make it work on a smaller scale, though. Yeah, like you said, the 4x6 table would be fantastic.
Yeah,
I think that's like the way to go. And actually, the more I think about it, if you had like a wargaming table, right, and you had a multiplayer, if you had a couple sets of this. Imagine a 2v2.
Oh, a 2v2 would be amazing. Yeah.
It'd be so cool.
Yeah. And their demoing situation for this game was absolute genius.
Yeah.
They had 2 full tables set up so they could have 2 simultaneous games going on. And they were legit just yanking people out of the crowd.
Yep.
Like, come over here and please shoot rocks at some random person that you've never met. Or if you have a friend with you, bring them over and, play this game. And it's a lot of fun. There was always a crowd of people around it watching it happen because it's a fun game to watch.
I was going to say, it's just fun to watch.
Yeah, it's fun to watch because it's very physical. You're actively shooting these cannonballs across the board to knock stuff down. But yeah, had I seen this earlier in the weekend, definitely would already own it and would have already played it a couple of times. But it was that I do regret it. I probably should have bought the lower end with one expansion.
You could have got the
I got that
neoprene
addictive
mats.
Personality. I want all the expansions and I want it now.
We're gonna find out the neoprene mats were like a GenCon exclusive or something, and you're gonna kick yourself to your dying breath.
Yeah, I hate myself.
Oh no, I don't even want to talk about this next one because I want it so bad.
Yep. So this we also did see late in the game. I would have swiped the credit card to pick this up anyway. I would have tried to make it work, period.
We're talking about some necromolds. Necromolds monster battles. It's basically, on the surface, it's like war game for kids because you're using Play-Doh and these monster molds to create your armies. And when you defeat a monster of the opponent's side, you take these like rings with your own like unique insignias and stuff you get from blind bags or whatever comes in the box, and you squish the monster and they're left dead, a pile of mush on the ground with like your mark on them. And when they get wounded, you take little plastic knives or swords or whatever, and you put them in.
Stick them in there.
You put them in.
When you get equipment, you get a cool hat to put on. You put it on your model. It sticks on your model, or a shield. You put it on there, and he's carrying it around.
They basically were like, "Yeah, this game's perfect for families, adults, children, whatever." And this is the adult expansion that makes the game more complicated, and it just adds rules for like hardcore players. And I'm like, bro, you had me at like Play-Doh.
Yeah, Play-Doh,
you don't have
mold
to go this
creatures.
hard.
We don't have to go that hard. Yeah, this is a game, like I said, I would have swiped a card and walked away with.
I mean, you bought a ring, right?
I bought a ring. I bought one of the signet rings that you use to squish one of your opponent monsters when you do it. Does that ring fit my gigantic fat hand? Absolutely not. Do I regret it? No.
Say, do you have the game? No. You're ready for it.
I'm ready for it. I've got my signet ring that I'm going to use to squish your little Play-Doh man.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah. No, this is a game that I'm super hyped for. It's ridiculous fun, and it just, if you haven't seen it before, look it up because it's like nothing else that's out there.
Man, it's one of those ones that I really wish I had caught the Kickstarter. Now we just got to wait for a restock.
Now I'm just waiting for that restock. Yeah.
Last one we got here, and it's kind of out now if you can find it.
Yeah, it's out now. That's Disney's Lorcana.
Yeah.
Did we get it at the show? No, we didn't. We were gonna try.
Yep.
Did we give it the try that everybody else gave it? Absolutely not. That was madness. There were so many people trying to get Lorcana at this show to the point where they were literally lining up 6 p.m. the day before.
Yep.
To wait. So 6 p.m.
10 a.m. the next morning.
So wait until 10 a.m. the next morning to be able to get in a line to maybe get it. So it's not even a guarantee, right? It's a maybe get. Did we try and get in this line at some point? Yeah, we did. We did. We ended up leaving the line once we realized we did not have the time to devote to it, to stay in it, because it was going to take multiple hours. And at that point, it was not a guarantee that we were going to get product.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
We weren't even guaranteed to get it.
Yeah, not even guaranteed to get product. So did we get it at the show? No, we didn't. I wish we could have.
Oh, me too.
But we didn't. We were lucky enough to get some of it after. We did end up paying a bit of a premium for some of this stuff, so we did pay over MSRP.
Not from scalpers or anything like that.
Not from scalpers, from local game shops.
Yes.
So we bought it from our friendly local game stores. We got our starter decks, and I was able to get a gift pack myself.
Oh, so jealous.
But that's it. And now
you have all the starter decks.
Yeah, we have all the starter decks.
2 of the starter decks
and the gift pack. Yeah. But
and we've had a really good time with it.
We can't get it anywhere.
Yeah,
that's the same thing across the board. We're not unique in this. It's hard to find. The day that it was released, it either didn't hit some stores around because, they just didn't stock it, or the ones that it did hit, it sold out immediately.
Yep.
So this is going to be a game that is hard to get, which we're going to talk about probably in some future episodes.
Yeah, it's such an interesting thing where they're like, we don't want this game to be hard to get. We don't want the prices to be crazy. We're going to reprint this first chapter. And then people are mad about that.
Yeah.
Like they can't win at this point because it just wasn't properly stocked to begin with.
Yeah. And it's a shame because we've played this game now multiple times with the decks that we have. And I think it's fantastic.
I really enjoy the game quite a bit.
I enjoy it a lot, and I want nothing more than to build decks with my daughter so that we can keep playing.
Yeah.
And if we could just go buy cards right now, like we can go buy Magic cards, I would have a lot more cards, and we'd be building decks. We'd be playing it more often. Right now, we're kind of stuck with the starters and what we got.
We've both using the app because even their app's great. Using the app, we've gone through and we've built decks, like dream decks, and like, oh, this is the deck I'm aiming for. This 1 or 2 or 3 decks that I'm going to make, and I literally can't even begin to put it together.
Yeah,
because I can't buy cards.
You can't buy product. Yeah.
It won't let me.
Yep, they won't let me buy this game. And like I said, it's kind of a shame because it is a good game. It's a lot more simple than other TCGs that are out there. I don't know why I said TCGs.
Why? Trading
card game. Yeah, okay, that works.
You had it?
I don't know. It's getting a little bit late. My brain's
pretty
a little
late.
bit weird. It's
look,
boiling a little bit.
Me. Believe in the me that believes in you.
But yes, it is a little bit more simple when compared to other TCGs on the market. But that's not at a detriment. I don't think.
No, it's why I want to play it.
Yeah, I think that makes it more accessible. And actually, the system is really nice. I really like the way the deck building works.
Yeah,
I just want to build one. I wish I could. I wish I could do the deck building more. But yeah,
wish upon a star.
Yeah, that's a game that if I could go back, would I wait in line to get more? Ooh, that's a really good question.
Like,
I wouldn't wait in that 6 p.m. line.
Well, this is what I'm saying. So here's the time machine moment. They really screwed up on day 1, right?
Oh yeah.
There was people that waited since like 2 a.m. and then basically come the morning when they were like, actually, the official line is over here.
Yeah, they moved
everyone that had waited was not given a fair shake at like getting in line. They were just like, hey, it's over here. And then everyone rushed over in reports or people got hurt. There was someone in a wheelchair supposedly that was pushed over. Like, this is insane. And after that, they were like, oh, we're going to open the line at 6 p.m. and let you in at 10 a.m. And I'm like, even then, I'm like, this is insane that they're letting people do this. But at the end of the day, consenting adults, do what you want.
Yeah, do what you want.
In a perfect world, if that line had been set up ahead of time and we could have gotten in line Wednesday night or early Thursday morning to have done this, back in time, I would do it.
Yeah.
To really, really get these cards. Every other night, though, and every other morning, we were just too busy.
Yeah, we had so much stuff going on. Yeah.
Packed schedules.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't have been doable. So in that sense, I mean, we really got these cards in the best situation we could have at right now.
Yeah, we were able to get them from our local game store at a little bit of a marked up, so not scalper prices, but a little bit more. Yeah. I ended up paying probably about double for my gift pack.
That's the thing. After the starter decks, the markup
just kept creeping up. It went up and up and up. And that's why when the gift pack was there, I saw our local game store only had 3 of them on the shelf, I think. And it was double the price. And I was like, do I really want to pay double for this gift pack? And then I started thinking, I was like, well, maybe I'm not going to be able to get it on official launch day because big box came after game stores.
Correct.
And I was like, well, we're going to try for that big box release. I'm going to grab the gift pack then. And I was like, well, what if I can't get it? You know what? I'm just going to support my local store. I'll pay their double price right now just so I can have it.
Yeah.
Turns out I was never even in the running to be able to get that on big box day opening.
Right.
It was never going to happen.
This was your chance.
That was my chance, and I did it. Did I pay a little bit more for it? Yep. Do I regret it? No, because otherwise I wouldn't probably get those cards.
And that's a shame.
And
it's a shame that's how this launch has gone, because this game is really, really good. And it's going to have this stigma with these terrible line issues and the people that you can't get it. And it's all scalpers and everything else. And luckily, my son was with me that weekend that we went up, and he was able to get a starter deck also along with me, and he's able to enjoy it, and he's not being affected by all these negatives. He's not out there trying to buy boosters and stuff like that, so he doesn't know how bad it's been for people who's trying to get more. But there's kids and adults alike out there that just want to play this game that cannot do so.
Yeah, they can't do it. Yeah,
that sucks.
So not great to report on, but overall, is it a fun game? Yeah.
Yes.
And I hope they solve these problems because it's a game that I want to play more of.
Expect a 60-second review in the future.
yeah. So we'll be talking about Lorcana more. We went on a little bit of a rant there, but it does, bear talking about at least a little bit.
Yeah. But for now, I've been Tyler.
And I've been Richard.
And we've been True Strike. Hey adventurers, thanks again for joining us today. Please be sure to give us a follow on your favorite podcasting platforms and YouTube. If there's any questions you'd like to write into the show, you can hit us up on Threads or Instagram. New episodes release every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for listening to True Strike.